Ah, yes, summer. For lots of people, it means relaxing out in the warm weather, basking in the sunshine. For my friends, it means exploring the city and seeing what it has to offer. But for artists like myself, summer marks a season full of bountiful creative opportunities. It's counting down the days until the beginning of July, and making sure you have all your reference sheets and character details prepared. It's grabbing images you may need in case that the website goes down.
Dude, it's August. What are you yapping about?
Thank you, disembodied voice. Yes, it's currently August, which marks the end of another successful season of Art Fight. All we have to do now is wait for the winning team to be announced. And it better be Crystal. That's all I'm saying. Now, you've either been just as excited as I am to have an excuse to draw, or you're watching this video wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Maybe you've seen all the TikToks about this art fight over the last couple of years, and you have no clue what the hype is all about. Well, my friend, though the season has ended, there's never a bad time to talk about Art Fight. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the absolute basics of Art Fight for those who don't really know much but want to get into it. Think of this as like a little cheat sheet you can reference and show to people when Art Fight starts trending again next June. A crash course, if you will. So, let's start from the beginning, take it slow, work our way through this, starting with the big question. What is Art Fight? Art Fight is a yearly online art game that lasts through the entire month of July. Players are divided into teams, and your goal is to rack up as many points as possible for your team before the end of the month. Points are earned via the art pieces you make for the other team, which seems like a simple enough description, but what does that actually look like? How does the game work? For starters, there's the teams. There's 2 team themes that are voted on by the community. You will be placed onto one of the teams, and your job from there is to rack up points for your team by attacking opposing players. Meanwhile, the opposite team will be doing the exact same thing to you and your teammates. Attacks and defenses are art pieces you create during the event and upload to the site. Any art pieces made by you will be listed as attacks on your profile. Any art pieces made for you by other people will be listed as defenses on your profile. Now, you're going to see another little button on your profile, and it's going to say statistics. When you open it up, there is going to be 2 tables, one that's going to describe your overall career on Art Fight, and one that's going to describe how you're doing during the current event. You're also going to have 2 little bars. These are what's called your battle ratios. Your battle ratio is how many attacks that you have produced versus how many you have received. If you are dishing out more attacks than you are receiving, you will have a higher battle ratio. If you are receiving more than you are dishing out, you will have a lower battle ratio. Though, if you ask me personally, I don't really think it's that important. There are some people who genuinely reference battle ratios to figure out who they want to attack, but it's not really indicative of whether or not you are a good or bad player. A lot can happen within a month. Just try to do the best that you can. When you upload your pieces to the Art Fight website, you will be tasked with scoring your art piece in order for your team to receive the proper amount of points. When it comes to scoring, you are in charge of identifying the worth, and it's purely honor-based. Your artwork is scored based on the type of artwork you made, how much of a character is shown, and the level of detail that you have put into the piece. As of 2025, art is broken up into 4 distinct categories: drawn/painted pieces, 3D models, crafts, and animation. Now, each topic has a bunch of little sub-niches that factor into how many points you can receive. If I were to go into the nuances of scoring each art category, this would be a lot longer of a video. Also, while you're uploading your piece to the website, you do have to keep in mind the content that you created because it might need a little bit of filtering. I know censoring a piece of artwork is not necessarily fun, but just because something is not particularly triggering to you doesn't mean it isn't triggering to someone else. If there is a relevant triggering topic, Art Fight requires you to tag your attack or character as having sensitive content. I'll have the most censored topics right behind me, but usually they relate to gore, suggestive content, or nudity. Speaking of nudity is allowed on the site, but there are limits. Keep in mind, there are minors on the site, and they, for example, cannot receive or distribute attacks that have genitals or suggestive themes. Explicit porn is also not allowed. Sorry, Twitter artists. So now that we kinda know how the game works, what are you going to need necessarily to prepare for it when Art Fight looms its little head around the corner? For starters, you're gonna need an account on the artfight.net website. It's free to sign up. You have to be minimum 13 years old in order to participate. If there isn't an event currently going on, the site's going to be pretty dormant. You're not going to be allowed to submit attacks, but you will be allowed to submit characters. Speaking of that, you will need a character for people to draw. Technically, you can participate in Artfight without uploading any of your own characters, but you are kind of missing like half of the fun of Artfight. Now, Artfight is not a fan art competition. Artfight primarily focuses on what's called OCs. For those who don't know, that stands for original characters. There's some room you can kind of play around with when it comes to the originality of your characters. For example, if you have someone that lives within a pre-existing universe, or you're taking a pre-existing character and you're modifying it to be more original, think AUs or alternate universes. So long as you're giving proper credit where it is due and you're not just slapping a PNG of Mickey Mouse on your page, you should be good. From there, you can include as much or as little information as possible about this character. Each character page has a bio and permissions. The bio lays out any relevant information, and permissions are usually the do's and don'ts when it comes to drawing a character. Using my own little character here, Mitzi, as an example, you can see that her page has a description, and there's some things at the bottom that I've specified being okay to draw, like nudity and gore. But now it's June, you've uploaded a character, and you've given them a neat little bio and some permissions. Now what? As I mentioned before, usually a week before the event is scheduled to start, the Artfight developers will release what teams will be on the current year's roster via an 8-hour livestream. Once the teams are revealed, the website becomes open to what's called early bird registering. That basically means you get the chance to pick what team you want to be on before the event starts. If you don't sign up by the time the event starts, you will be placed onto a random team. But don't worry if you don't like the team you're on, you have 3 chances to swap between teams. And if for any reason you need your account to temporarily go inactive during the event, you can do so, but at the cost of 2 of your team swaps, 1 to go inactive and 1 to become active again. If you run out of swaps during the event and you really need to change, you're going to have to ask an Artfight dev. Now, the last thing you're going to want to consider before the event starts is who you're attacking first. Now, I need to make it very clear that the event absolutely prohibits users from working on attacks before the event starts, as per their Spirit of Artfight rules. But as someone who's been doing this for almost 10 years, it is good to have references saved and at least have some idea in mind or sketched on paper. The site has had a very infamous history of shutting down and becoming incredibly slow at times due to the volume of users on it. It has become a meme in the community about how dysfunctional the website can be day one. I'm not going to condone breaking a core rule, but all I will say is be prepared for the scenario where you might not have access to the website or other people's profiles and characters for up to a couple of days. There is one thing I haven't really discussed, and I can already hear the comments kind of yelling at me a little bit about it. So let's talk about AI art. What about it? I'm an AI artist and I want to participate. And I hate to break it to you, buddy, but unfortunately, the Artfight team has made it explicitly clear that AI art of any kind is not allowed at all. In fact, any submission of AI art onto the website during the event is classified as art theft, and it has the potential for your works to get deleted or your profile to even get banned. I understand there are people who are going to argue that AI makes art more accessible. Some people don't have the motor skills or experience necessary to paint or draw. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you guys that this is not the video for that. But for God's sake, I just was browsing through some attacks. There's a person on this site who carved someone's character into a wheel of camembert cheese. Hi, this is Allie from the sort of adjacent future. It's the one that's crunching 3 Artfight videos to get produced within a week. While I was trying to find my assets for editing, discovered a very fun little attack, which consists of this person who used nothing but soy sauce and their friend, not their hair, their friend's hair, to attack someone's character with. And by the way, I'm not shaming this person at all. The exact opposite. I am fully commending this person because it's attacks like these that are like truly a testament to the creativity of the users on this site. So to that point about AI, you can get really creative. You have the world at your fingertips. And that's the spirit of Artfight. It's getting so creative with what you have at your disposal, whether it's digital art, whether it's food art, whether it's crafts. whether it's 3D sculptures. That's the joy of it. There's a reason why people like this event so much, and it's not something I'm going to talk about in this video, but maybe one in the future. But if you've gotten this far, congrats! You've just completed a crash course on Artfight. Yippee! Now, obviously, this isn't a fully inclusive list. I also have to keep this video like 10 minutes and under, admittingly. So there could have been stuff that I kind of missed for the sake of time, but I would be willing to answer. I'd love to be able to answer it in the comments. If you have any questions about the event, how it works, the sites, the community, I can try with the best of my abilities. I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to ask people to like and subscribe to the video. I don't know, man. You do you. I'm just here.